Hey everyone, before we dive into today's video, there's something very exciting that I want to share with you. Have you ever wanted to command an army, forge alliances, and launch massive military campaigns? Well, today I've got just the game for you. Introducing Strike of Nations, a free online PvP strategy game that is taking the mobile gaming world by storm. With over 20 million downloads, it is on the top 5 games of both iPhone and Android devices. Destroy your enemies with crazy weapons launched from powerful aircraft carriers, forge alliances with other players, occupy hostile nuclear bases, and control them with various infantry units, as well as a variety of powerful war tanks. And the best part? The company behind Strike of Nations has provided a special link in the description below the video. If you click on it, you will receive an exclusive content pack worth $20. You can also click the QR code on screen now. Whether you want to fight alongside me or challenge me, now's your chance. Strike of Nations isn't just any strategy game. It is a modern global warfare experience. Remember to click that link in the description and get that exclusive pack, build your base, collect resources, and fight your way to victory. Real talk, boys. You got to support content that supports content you love. Check out Strike of Nations. Link in the description. Right. Do you ever get sick of seeing the same 2 or 3 colonizers dominate the New World in every single game of Europa Universalis IV? Do you sometimes wish that you'd see more unorthodox colonizers in your game? And I'm not just talking about the Dutch or the occasional Mamluk. Well, if you answered yes to either of those questions, you're definitely going to enjoy today's video. Because this time, everybody starts the game with exploration and expansion ideas unlocked and fully filled out in 1444. Make sure that you like the video if you enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so you get notified when these videos go up live. At 50,000 subscribers here on the channel, we're going to be doing a massive mega campaign all the way from Imperator Rome through Hearts of Iron 4. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I'd love to have you here for it. Also, if you want early access to videos on this channel and access to exclusive roles and chats in the Discord, consider becoming one of the homies by clicking the join button below the video, or support me on Patreon. Links are in the description. Now, of course, early on, the 2 major things are going to be technology and economy, of course. The only person colonizing in the entire world right now is Mali, colonizing these 2 provinces, which is really good for them, might help keep the Europeans out. I imagine we're going to see some land being snagged up shortly by Portugal, but, you know, it's only going to be a matter of time, but it will happen eventually. It just might take some time for some nations to get a little bit sorted economically, or, you know, just go to war with their neighbors in like 1444 and beat the tar out of them. That's one way to go about it as well. Well, we do have a little bit of colonization going on. A little bit over here. This small little island off the coast of the Ming being colonized by the Ming. Take from that what you will. Yeah, I guess Castile decided, why colonize land overseas when you can just, you know, colonize the land nearby? Seizing it by, you know, coercive methods, so to speak. Tenerife has been colonized. I did miss that. So somebody is only 1 step away from Cape Verde. We have the Portuguese over here on this Arguim. So yeah, I think we'll see some people getting into South America very shortly. And unrelated, but something that I very much had to mention, the King of Munich or Duke or whatever had died and fell under a PU of Denmark, I think. And Austria is defending them, or Austria got it and Denmark is defending them. One of the 2. Either way, we've got a very big war going on, and I think that's just fun and worth mentioning. 1451, our first colonists have landed. Hopefully they don't run into any wildlife, so to speak. But yeah, the Portuguese are here in the Orinoco Delta, and that's pretty cool. First of many, I'm sure. And a couple of years later, just down the coast, we do have the Castilians landing in South America, specifically in Brazil as well. Somehow skipping entirely over Cape Verde. I don't know why. They just jumped right from Tenerife over to here. And I mean, that's fine. But that means that somebody's going to be able to get some colonial range, because at the beginning, this is the major thing, is they just can't reach. Once they get Diplotech 7, I want to say, that is when things are going to really start taking off for basically everybody. We definitely need to be keeping our eyes on the money that's going on over in India. We have a couple of colonization here. I think this is Brunei, Vijayanagar, taking some land over here. We have Malacca over here. And then this one is also Vijayanagar. So definitely some early colonization going on in the Spice Islands, which could get a lot of trade flowing over into India. That would be a really good thing for them, especially early on, to kind of fight off the colonizers whenever they do arrive. And when I say colonizers, I mean people over in Europe, the traditional colonizers, right? Because obviously everybody is a colonizer this time around, but you guys know what I mean. Also, Timmy Dummy Thick, question mark, going for Mughals by the looks of it. I don't think that's them. I think that's this little Nepali native over here. But look at that. looking good. They've integrated Transoxiana, which means they probably are keeping their subjects loyal. And we might see Mughals, which I would love to see. Colonial Mughals. That would be a sight. Well, it is time that the English make their way over into the New World as well, spreading their culture, or whatever you would call that. And now an unlikely member, but an inevitable one, Morocco here in Puerto Rico, as well as over here on this island, looking like they might be the ones to get most of the land down here. Meanwhile, Portugal continues over here with a Trinidad as their colonial capital. And then Castile has Castilian Brazil. Mali looking mostly good, all things considered. Lots of rebels, but I'm pretty sure they're still having that disaster that they start with. But overall, they're doing quite well. Same with Ashikaga. Looks like they've actually finally gotten up, doing a bit of very useful colonization. Good AI logic there. But they've also taken some land up here. So Ashikaga looking like they may make their way over to the left coast, which would be very cool to see. But how about that Timurids? I can't believe it. There are only a couple of provinces from Delhi. And assuming nothing gets in their way, we are definitely going to see Mughals. Timmy, I'm going to have to ask you to calm down, sir. You are doing entirely too much. A new contestant has entered the arena, Neapolitan Guinea, but not just over here. They're also in Brazil, because Naples is fully fledged colonial nation at this point. And Genoa has also arrived over here in the Windward Isles. Definitely going to have a little bit of competition, as well as the French here, but Morocco definitely established. Meanwhile, every American's worst nightmare, the British have settled here in Chesapeake Bay. They've continued up here, but we do have a couple of other people over here, namely Frisians and Dutch. Kiowa is actually doing a bit of work, taking some land down here in the Cape of Good Hope, which I think some of that is via their mission tree, but some of it is probably via colonization. I do know for a fact that they're colonizing because these islands, these are all green, and they have Kiowa's name on it. Except for this one. This is what, Aden? Adal? Yeah, so we've got Somalis making their way over to the islands here. Oh, Australia is such a mess. We have Bengali, Vijayanagari, we've got Malaccan, we've got Ayutthaya, we've got even Korea over here in New Zealand, which is just chef's kiss. And meanwhile, Ashikaga continues to dominate East Siberia, hotly contested territory. But Oirat looking incredibly good, taking a lot of land. But when you consider that their neighbors is a big, scary Mughals, suddenly I'm not as impressed. And Brunei has decided that they want to be the ones taking over the Philippines, competing with Korea for it. Surprise Ming is not doing a little bit more colonization considering how much money they generally have early on. But they've made their way down into the Spice Islands, and that's about it. I always get so stoked whenever I see like one province minor free cities just like blobbing out. And I think the last episode we had Memmingen making it all the way up here to Oberpfalz, but this time it's Regensburg from Ulm to Oberpfalz, so very good stuff. But of course, they're not the only one dominating. The Ottomans pushing all the way down, bordering Cairo, all the way up, bordering Pest, and all of Crimea, all the way over, bordering the Caspian. So yeah, clearly the Ottomans having a good game, but as is Muscovy. Hasn't formed Russia yet, but they have a ton of land over here, taking most of Sweden's actual territory in Finland, as well as northern Sweden, as well as the entirety of the Baltic states. So Muscovy definitely going to be very powerful, especially once they form Russia. Meanwhile, the East Coast continues to be an absolute mess of a bunch of different people colonizing a bunch of different places. I think even Genoa has gotten in. Oh no, it's Verden. It's Verden over there in northern Germany. So Massachusetts is now Verden. Meanwhile, we have Portuguese Louisiana right next to a very beefy Portuguese Mexico. And it seems like the Moroccans are not taking too kindly to the French, kicking them out of Cuba over here. Very cool. And now Mali has decided to get in on the colonial game, conquering a little bit of land over here, carving out their colonial empire in Argentina. Wait, no, I think this is actually technically Brazil. I'm pretty sure this down to right here is Brazil. I'm almost positive. Long Congo all the way down the coast, though most of this is wasteland, so it doesn't really count, but we'll count it. And it looks like Bengal is a mostly consolidated Australia over here, but Mashapahit has entered the scene. And then Hoju, very cool colonial nation for Korea. Meanwhile, Japan is split, but still united. Japan and Japan conquering a bit more of Japanese East Siberia. Not sure why they're putting so much effort over here, but there is some good news about this. They've got two provinces over here in the Cascadia colonial region, so we're gonna see it. And meanwhile, the Mughals just continue their domination, with Sind down here just holding still, not moving, so that way they don't get conquered. And so almost 100 years into the game, we have the Ottomans here in the #1 spot with almost 1,400 development, with England following them, France, Castile, the Mughals, the actual #2 spot, and when you consider development, followed by Poland, and then Portugal, and then Muscovy, rounding out the top 8. Still pretty messy over here in the Spice Islands. We've got Bhutan, Makassar, a couple of various nations, some Malacca, Brunei, still looking pretty good. China, not looking so good. Japan, very big name, a lot of very worthless land. But somebody who does have a pretty big name and is quite powerful, our friends the Mughals here, conquering their way into India, all the way over past the Bengal Delta, pushing down into the south. And I think we may actually form a Deccan here shortly, or rather release one, which would be pretty cool. I feel like you don't see that very often, at least not by the AI, that's for sure. And honestly, there's just a lot of big bad green boys over here. The Ottomans are still having a very good game, conquering the remaining Mamluk lands over here, with Russia forming, no surprise, but they're also looking incredibly good, though they got cut off by colonizing Oirat. So maybe they won't be as strong, but they've got a lot of land over here, and they've actually taken some land in Denmark. So worth looking at. We've actually got a bunch of formables. The Commonwealth is here, Great Britain is here, Spain is here, and Portugal. I don't know what happened to them, but they're here. For how long, who knows? Of course, we have to mention the Netherlands is united, looking very good. Next to France, who's there, they're looking okay. They've lost some land, but they've also gained quite a bit. So I don't really know what to think about it. And while we're here, the Reformation is underway. We've got Reformed, Anglican, and then most of the rest is just Protestant, surrounded by Catholics in the south and the west and the east, as well as even up in the north. New World is a bit of the same, mostly Catholic with some Anglican, some Catholic, Confucian, Hindu, and Shinto over on the west coast. Very cool. Because Korea has made their way over here with Japan in California, but we also have Vijayanagari, California, which I assume had some of this before and then lost it, if I had to guess. Actually, all of it, because it was Hindu before. So rest in peace, Vijayanagari, California. All of my homies love Japanese California. Of course, we have Japanese Alaska, but you can't forget about Lubekian Cascadia, because of course they did. And for our last check-in, the Mughals have actually passed the Ottomans, looking incredibly good in that first spot, with the Ottomans in the second, very competitive, ahead of Spain, who is basically only in the front because of their colonial empire, as is Great Britain. But then Portugal, and then the Commonwealth with no colonial empire, looking incredibly good, followed by France with a bit, and then Korea in the top 8, which is, I love it. Well, at least there was 3 major green blobs. The Mughals are the only one left. Well, the only one really left. And boy, they're looking pretty good. Though you got to give a shout out to Sind, who has migrated out of Sind and into Baluchistan and is just sitting still. They haven't moved in a really long time, and they're not a subject. They're not friends with the Mughals. They're just chilling, not getting conquered. So I love to see that. But yeah, man, Mughal North China, Mughal South China, it's all Mughals all the way down. No Deccan, though they may have released them and integrated them. I don't actually know. But regardless, over in Indonesia, looking really good for a couple of tags. Malacca and Brunei are the 2 major ones. And then it keeps on flipping back and forth. Australia is absolutely a lost cause. Meanwhile, over in Europe, the Commonwealth doing incredibly well, picking at the bones of Russia that are left over from getting spanked by the Mughals. And then how about the Knights down here in Anatolia, conquering a ton of land around the area? I think that this is probably my favorite thing I've seen so far. That is, aside from the massive, very impressive, beefy Montferrat over here in southern France, northern Italy. I love this a lot. Also, yes, we do have a 2 Sicilies that is formed, though they're not looking too good, at least not over here. Most of their development is down here in Africa, near their capital in Guinea. Likewise, Somalia has formed and is fighting a big war, losing a big war, but still very strong, very big nation. I think that's worth mentioning. And the New World, Spain ended up taking basically all of it, and Portugal. It's actually a shame how much of it looks like vanilla. But other than that, we have Mexico, who is independent, new 2 Sicilies inside of the 13 colonies. Very funny. And honestly, just a very big mess over here. Though Brandenburgian Canada. If you had that one on your bingo card, go ahead and cross it off. The West Coast is a total mess, with people just conquering each other left and right. We've got Korea, we've got Japan, we've got Portugal getting in on here. So yeah, hopefully this cleans up before the end. Frankfurt looking incredibly dummy thick. You love to see that. The Netherlands, not looking so thick, not really something you like to see, at least not me. I always appreciate seeing the Netherlands doing well. But how about Brandenburg getting just like dissected? I don't know how the Commonwealth has this lands. They might have a personal union or something on Bohemia, if I had to guess. But Brandenburg, pretty spread out here in northern Germany. Venice actually used to have a ton of land over here, but they got spanked by Austria as well as Spain. So rip Venice. So they're still doing okay. Oh, yo, and I totally missed this. We have Turkey has formed, apparently. We also have Arabia. I think they popped out by rebels and a one province minor Persia. So what is up with this? A bunch of rare tags that you don't really see very often. Though Turkey, I'm pretty sure, was from the revolution. I'm pretty sure they went revolutionary and then they collapsed. I think. I could be wrong on that one. Now, when is the last time that you have seen a more impressive nation than this Mughals right here? And to me, the thing that makes it so much better is that they didn't benefit from having exploit expansion. This has nothing to do with what I did for the video premise. It's just really funny to see it. Though it is safe to say that this region down here definitely looks different because of what we changed. Specifically, all of the colonial islands over here in the Spice Islands and down under very much has different demographics than it does in a normal vanilla game of EU4. That's for sure. Just look at the religions. We've got Confucian, we've got Hindu, Confucian, Buddhists, Muslims. What an absolute melting pot of culture. Scandinavia ended up forming, which is pretty cool. We have an independent Novgorod, an independent Estonia. So shout out Estonia, and a Commonwealth that is not doing very well. Not at all. They've popped out Kiev, and they're currently losing a war to a very big and beefy knights, apparently. Very funny. I absolutely love the fact that they're here and that they are as strong as they are. They even pushed down into Egypt and down across the Levant, almost touching up their borders over here, but missing out on the Holy Land. So very good. The Knights absolutely get a pass this time. And then we have Italy up here, who you take a look around and you say, wow, they own a lot of land that the Two Sicilies did before. They even own Rome. We take a look over here in the New World and you see New Italy, but right above that is New Two Sicilies. So no, it was Venice that formed it because Two Sicilies is like 10 provinces in Africa now. Seen better days. South America looks about the same as it did last time, with Catholic making up the majority of the religion and Sunni making up, you know, some minority. The culture is pretty cool though. We've got Swahili down here with Platinian, Castilian, and Brazilian up here in Colombia and Venezuela. And then Brazil is just Turkish. Instead of living in an apartment in Berlin, the most ardent Turkish nationalist actually lives in a hut in the Amazon rainforest. Oh, also shout out Neapolitan, and we have a, what is that, Kleine Venedig or whatever that is, German, little Venice or whatever over here. That's pretty cool. I like to see that. I know it's not German, it's Venetian, but you know, you get what I'm saying. We have American and English culture over here with Frisian and Dutch, Saxon up here. Very cool. The rest of here in the central portion is Portuguese, but Korean down here with Canada, whatever that is over here, and then Seigoku over here, and then more Lower Saxon over here. So the culture stuff in the New World is so cool. I'm very glad that we actually get a little bit of something different. And the religious map mode is a complete mess, so you would expect that as well. Now, obviously, Western Europe, there's a couple of major things. Obviously, Spain is incredibly impressive. They've even pushed Somalia well out into, you know, Somalia, and then they pushed France out of France. And then Great Britain took the rest. Great Britain had a very good game. Enough to put them in the second spot behind the Mughals with over 8,400 development. Great Britain had a very good game ahead of Spain, as well as the Commonwealth, who is very much a nation in decline, over Italy with under 2,000 development, Malacca, again under 2,000 development, Scandinavia with 1,800, and then Mexico, a new world nation with 1,670 development in the 8th spot. Very terrifying. We have a military hegemon here fully stacked up for the Mughals. So safe to say the Mughals won. The fact that they won and they didn't actually get colonization buffs, you know, that's a thing, but you know, I'll take what I can get here. Super fun video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you do that, because at 50,000 subscribers here, we're going to be doing that massive mega campaign all the way from Imperator Rome through Hearts of Iron 4. Please do take a minute out of your day to install Strike of Nations and support your boy. Really does go a long way. It's a free install and you lose absolutely nothing for downloading it. And to everyone who's made it to the end of the video, you watching, you're an absolute legend. I appreciate you, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. Special thanks to Chio, Josh Kopczynski, Azure Rhino, Blonde Damon, Ian Powell, Cannon Fodder, Corporate Gaming, Anthony Grove, Isaiah, Saronska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Total Farce Frit, Nathan Albright, and many more. Thank you.